The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn gleamed under the sodium glow of street lamps as I shoved open the door to the rusty Anchor, my heart pounding like a bass drum in a shitty indie band. There he was, Dylan, leaning against the bar like he owned the goddamn place. His laugh cutting through the haze of cigarette smoke and cheap whiskey. That same laugh that made my skin crawl and my fists clench. Ethan, right? The guy who thinks he's too good for this dive, he said, his green eyes locking onto mine with that infuriating smirk, as if he'd been waiting for me to walk right into his trap. I hated him from that first glance. The way his broad shoulders filled out that faded Yankees tee. The casual flick of his wrist as he signaled the bartender for another round. Dylan Whitaker, Wall Street wolf pup by day, barfly charmer by night, embodied everything I despised about New York. The relentless hustle, the fake charm masking hollow ambition. I'd moved here from Ohio 2 years ago, chasing a screenwriting gig that never panned out, scraping by on freelance copy for ads that sold lies to desperate millennials. And now, this asshole, who'd crashed my roommate's birthday bash uninvited, was eyeing me like I was the next conquest on his list. Fuck off, Dylan, I muttered, sliding onto a stool 2 seats away, signaling for a beer to steady my nerves. The place was packed with the usual crowd. Tattooed artists nursing hangovers, finance bros loosening ties after closing deals that screwed over half the city. My best friend, Mia, had dragged me here, promising networking, but all I saw was a sea of egos drowning in IPA. Dylan didn't budge. Instead, he slid over, his knee brushing mine under the bar, accidental, maybe, but the spark that shot up my leg said otherwise. Come on, Ethan. Lighten up. Life's too short for brooding Midwestern vibes. His voice was velvet over gravel, that southern drawl he'd picked up from summers in Savannah creeping in when he got cocky. I wanted to punch that dimple in his chin, the one that deepened when he grinned like he knew secrets I couldn't touch. But there was something else, buried under the arrogance. A flicker of real hunger in his eyes, like he was starving for connection in this concrete jungle that chewed up dreamers like us. By midnight, the bar had thinned out, and Mia was off flirting with some drummer in the corner. Dylan and I were deep in a debate that started over craft beer ethics and spiraled into the soul-crushing grind of adulting in the Apple. You think you're above it all, he accused, leaning in too close, his breath warm with bourbon. But you're just scared. Scared to grab what you want before it slips away. His words hit like a gut punch. I come out at 17, lost friends, fought family only to land here, single and skeptical, wondering if love was just another scam. I shoved back from the bar, chair scraping loud enough to turn heads. And you're the king of grabbing? Or just the prince of pretty lies? He didn't flinch. Just held my gaze, that confidence radiating like heat from a bonfire, drawing me in even as I burned to run. Outside, the autumn chill bit into my jacket as I lit a cigarette, a habit I swore I'd quit. Footsteps splashed behind me. Dylan, of course, hands shoved in his pockets, collar popped against the drizzle. Truce? He said, softer now, pulling out his own smoke. We stood there, 2 strangers exhaling clouds into the night, the city's hum a distant roar. For a split second, his mask slipped, vulnerability cracking through the bravado, and I saw the boy beneath, orphaned young, clawing his way up from foster homes to corner offices, afraid of being left behind. My hate softened, just a fraction, but enough to make me wonder. The next week blurred into auditions and ramen dinners, but Dylan haunted me, A text popped up on my phone during a cattle call for an off-Broadway play. Coffee? My treat. No bullshit. Against every instinct, I said yes. We met at a hole-in-the-wall in Williamsburg, the kind with mismatched mugs and walls papered in indie band posters. He showed up in chinos and a button-down, sleeves rolled to show ink-black tattoos snaking up his forearms. Wolves and waves, symbols of the wild he'd tamed but never fully escaped. Over black coffee that tasted like regret, he spilled fragments. Growing up in Georgia, the dad who bailed, the string of stepmoms who didn't stick. Confidence? It's armor, Ethan. Without it, I'd be roadkill. His laugh was self-deprecating this time, and damn if it didn't tug at something deep in my chest. I shared too. The Ohio winters that froze my secrets, the first boyfriend who ghosted after I dared to love him out loud. By the time we parted, his hand lingered on my shoulder, thumb tracing a lazy circle. "You're not like the others," he murmured. "You see through the shit." That night, alone in my shoebox apartment, I replayed it all, heart racing. Hate had morphed into curiosity, curiosity into a dangerous ache. I told myself it was the city, New York, with its neon pulse and endless nights, turning enemies into lovers overnight. But deep down, I knew Dylan's arrogance wasn't just a shield. It was a siren call, pulling me toward the rocks. Weeks turned into a whirlwind. Dates that weren't dates. Rooftop beers overlooking the East River, where he'd quote Kerouac while I sketched scenes in my notebook. Stolen kisses in alleyways after gallery openings, his lips tasting of mint and mischief. He was relentless, that confidence a force of nature, sweeping me up until I forgot why I'd ever pushed back. Sex came easy, raw, urgent. Bodies tangled in his loft in Soho. Sheets twisted like our doubts. "You're mine now," he'd whisper post-climax, fingers threading through my hair, and I'd believe him, lost in the glow. But cracks showed early. A canceled dinner because of a late client meeting. A dodged question about the cologne that wasn't his. Mia warned me over tacos at our favorite truck. "Babe, he's got that finance bro glow up. But I've seen his type. They love hard. Then they bolt." I brushed it off, clinging to the romance, the way he'd surprise me with tickets to a Yankees game, screaming obscenities at umps side by side, or the quiet mornings where he'd cook eggs over easy, humming Springsteen off-key. By Thanksgiving, we were official. His hand in mine at a family dinner in Queens. My sister's wary eyes scanning him like contraband. Felt like victory. "I love you," he said later. On the fire escape. Stars smudged by light pollution. The words hung heavy, real as the chill wind. I echoed them back, meaning every syllable. For the first time since landing in this mad city, I felt anchored. Little did I know, anchors could drag you under. Christmas lights twinkled like false promises along Fifth Avenue as Dylan and I bundled against the December bite, his arm slung possessively around my waist. "See, even Scrooge can't hate this," he teased, nodding at the rock center tree, its ornaments a riot of commercial cheer. I rolled my eyes but leaned into him, the scent of his wool coat, pine and sandalwood, wrapping me warmer than any scarf. We'd been together 3 months now, and the hate I'd nursed that first night at the bar, it was a ghost, exorcised by mornings of lazy blowjobs and evenings debating Scorsese films until dawn. New Year's Eve sealed it. We rang in the year from his loft balcony, champagne flutes clinking as fireworks exploded over the Hudson. To us, he toasted, eyes fierce with that unshakable confidence. The kings of this concrete kingdom. His kiss was fireworks of its own, deep, claiming, and when he dropped to one knee later, not with a ring but a key to his place, my world tilted. Move in. Let's build something real. Tears stung my eyes. I nodded, crashing into his arms as Auld Lang Syne wailed from the streets below. Life in the fast lane accelerated. I quit the ad drudgery for a junior writer spot on a Netflix pilot, Breaking the Mold, a queer dramedy about found family in the boroughs. Dylan celebrated with a blowout at his firm's holiday party, introducing me as the talent keeping me honest. His colleagues, sharp-suited sharks with Rolex grins, clapped me on the back, but their eyes lingered on Dylan, whispers trailing like smoke. I chalked it up to envy. He was the rising star, closing million-dollar deals while I scripted heart-to-hearts. But shadows crept in with the January thaw. Late nights became the norm, Dylan's phone buzzing like a hornet's nest. Just work, he'd mutter, silencing it with a kiss that tasted faintly of guilt. One February evening, I waited up, script revisions scattered across the kitchen island, the loft's exposed brick walls closing in like judgmental ants. The door clicked at 2 a.m. He stumbled in, tie askew, lipstick faint coral smudged on his collar. What the hell? Dylan? My voice cracked, betrayal blooming hot in my throat. He froze, then deflated, running a hand through his tousled hair. It was nothing. Client schmoozing. You know how it is. But his eyes darted, that confidence fracturing into something brittle. We argued ugly, voices echoing off the high ceilings, accusations flying like shrapnel. You're hiding something, I yelled. This isn't you, he fired back. And you're paranoid. Ethan, can't handle a little grease in the machine? The makeup sex was ferocious, a storm of nails and teeth, but the afterglow felt tainted. Doubts festered like mold in the subway tunnels. Mia staged an intervention over brunch at Sarabeth's, her fork stabbing pancakes like my fears. Babe, I've heard rumors. Dylan's been spotted with that junior analyst. Tyler something. Cute, blonde, total himbo. My stomach twisted. Tyler, the name from Holiday Party Small Talk. The one whose laugh had grated on me. It's nothing, I insisted, but the words rang hollow. I tailed him one lunch hour, heart hammering as I ducked into a Dwayne Reed across from his office tower in Midtown. There, Dylan, emerging with Tyler on his arm, their heads bent close, sharing a conspiratorial grin over steaming falafel wraps from a street cart. No kiss, no hand-holding, but the intimacy sliced deeper than any PDA. That night, I confronted him in the loft, phone clutched like evidence. Tyler? Really? After everything? Dylan's face crumpled, the arrogant mask shattering. He sank onto the leather couch, head in hands. It's not what you think. He's persistent, flirty. But I shut it down. Swear on my life. Tears streaked his cheeks, real, raw, and something in me softened. We talked till sunrise, peeling back layers, his fear of settling, the foster kid terror of loss making him push boundaries. I love you, Ethan. Only you. This city's a meat grinder. Sometimes I test the edges to feel alive. Forgiveness came reluctant, a band-aid over a gash. But we vowed therapy, couple sessions with a no-nonsense shrink in Chelsea who chain-smoked menthols between insights. Spring bloomed tentative. Cherry blossoms dusting Washington Square Park where we'd picnic. Scripts in my lap. Dylan's head on my thigh as he dozed to the strum of buskers. My pilot got greenlit. A milestone celebrated with a weekend in the Hamptons. His firm's borrowed beach house our playground. Waves crashed as we made love on the dunes. Salt-kissed skin glowing under a harvest moon. "You're my anchor," he breathed, fingers tracing the constellation of freckles on my chest. For a moment, the world was perfect, two souls adrift finding harbor. But betrayal's seed, once planted, roots deep. In May, during a script rewrite crunch, I found the texts. Buried in his email drafts. Unsent but damning, "Tyler, last night was a mistake. We can't." Ethan's everything. Attached, a photo, blurry but unmistakable, them tangled in a hotel sheet. Dylan's tattooed arm slung over Tyler's waist. Rage boiled, hot and volcanic. I stormed his office after hours, the glass walls reflecting my fury like a funhouse mirror. "You lying sack of shit." The words exploded as I hurled the printout. I developed it old school, masochistic, onto his desk. Dylan looked up from merger spreadsheets, color draining from his face. "Ethan." "God, no." It was one time. Bourbon-fueled stupidity after a client dinner. I ended it. His voice broke, pleading, but I saw the truth. The confidence that once pulled me close now repelled. A magnet flipped. We tore into each other, years of hurt unearthed in one cataclysmic night. "You think you're untouchable," I screamed. "But you're just a scared boy playing house," he countered with my insecurities. "And you're so busy scripting happy endings. You missed the plot twists." Security escorted me out, rain lashing the windows like accusatory fingers. Back at the loft, our loft, I packed a duffel, every shirt a memory, every sock a lie. Mia took me in, her Bushwick walk-up a sanctuary of takeout and true crime marathons. Days blurred into a haze of rewrites and rage texts ignored. My agent called. The pilot was filming in July. "Break a leg, kid. Channel that heartbreak." Irony tasted bitter. Dylan tried. Flowers at the door. Voicemails thick with regret. "I fucked up. Come home. Please." But trust, once shattered, cuts like glass. Summer sweltered, the city a steam bath of regret. Set life was a distraction, directing actors through scenes of queer longing that mirrored my own too closely. One night, post-rap, I hit the rusty anchor solo, masochism's encore. There he was, at our old spot, nursing a whiskey neat, eyes hollowed by shadows. Our gazes locked across the smoke. He slid over, tentative. "Ethan, don't." But my voice wavered. He looked wrecked, stubble shadowing that jaw, the dimple gone rogue. "I hate myself more than you ever could," confession poured. The betrayal born of panic. A one-night lapse after a fight. Tyler a ghost of his old self-destructive ways. "You're the only one who's ever seen me. The real me. Not the armor." Tears welled, unbidden. The hate reignited, but softer now, laced with the love I'd buried under rubble. "Why?" I whispered. He reached for my hand. I let him. "Because I'm an idiot. But I'm your idiot. If you'll have me." The bar faded. We stumbled into the night, rain mixing with sobs on the stoop. Kisses came hesitant, then hungry, forgiveness tasting of salt and second chances. Back at his place, we made love slow, reverent, mapping scars both seen and unseen. Dawn found us entwined, Whispers of "I'm sorry," and "I know" weaving a fragile truce. But peace is fleeting in the Empire State. July's heat wave baked the city into submission, but on set, the air crackled with creative fire. "Action!" the director barked, and there I was, watching extras embody the messy, beautiful chaos of love I'd scripted from my own veins. Dylan showed up most days, coffee runs and proud smiles, his presence a balm on the wound he'd inflicted. We'd rebuilt tentative, date nights at hidden speakeasies, therapy homework scrawled on napkins. Growth isn't linear, our shrink droned, but damn if it didn't feel like scaling Everest in flip-flops. He proposed in August, under the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset, the skyline a watercolor bleed of orange and indigo. Not flashy, just a simple silver band etched with waves, echoing his ink. "Marry me, Ethan. Let's rewrite our story." Kneeling there, vulnerability stripping him bare, I saw the man I'd fallen for. Confident, yes, but courageously cracked open. "Yes," I choked out, pulling him up into a kiss that drowned out the traffic hum. Rings exchanged. We danced like fools on the pedestrian path, strangers applauding our private joy. Wedding planning became our new battlefield, playful skirmishes over venues, rooftop loft or Central Park gazebo, and playlists, Springsteen or Bowie. His mom, the one stable foster parent who'd stuck, flew in from Atlanta, her southern warmth melting my Midwestern reserve. "He's a handful, sugar, but he's yours," Mia officiated, naturally, her vows a roast wrapped in love. "Ethan, you tamed the beast." "Dylan, don't fuck it up again." But beneath the tool and toasts, fissures lingered. Dylan's firm ramped up, a promotion to VP, 16-hour days blurring into weekends lost to spreadsheets. "It's temporary," he'd promise, pecking my cheek before vanishing into dawn commutes. I'd wake to cold sheets, scripting alone, the loft echoing with ghosts of arguments past. Tyler's shadow loomed too. A mutual friend spilled at a cast party. He'd transferred firms, but not before bad-mouthing Dylan to anyone who'd listen. "Payback's a bitch," Mia quipped, but the gossip gnawed. September brought hurricane whispers, literal and not. Ida's remnants flooded subways, mirroring the deluge in my gut when I overheard Dylan on a call in the shower. "Yeah, it's complicated. But Ethan's safe. You get it." The water drowned the rest, but the word safe lodged like a splinter. Safe, after the fire we'd ignited? That night, over takeout pad thai, I probed gently. "Everything good at work?" He tensed, fork midway to mouth. "Peachy." "Why?" "Just. You seem distant. Honesty hour. Therapy style." He sighed, setting down his chopsticks. "Pressure's mounting. Big merger. And yeah, maybe I'm scared. Marriage? That's forever. Ethan. What if I drag you down?" His eyes, those green pools, swirled with doubt. I cupped his face, thumbs brushing stubble. "Then we sink together. But we won't. You're my rock." Reassurance bought time, but October's chill ushered in the Real storm. My pilot premiered to buzz, critics calling it a queer anthem for the disillusioned. And suddenly, interviews, panels, the whirlwind I chased. Dylan beamed from the sidelines, but envy flickered. "You're the star now. Don't forget the little people." Jokes, mostly, but laced with truth. One gala after-party, champagne flowing like the Hudson. I caught him in a corner, Deep in convo with a Silver Fox exec, hands on shoulders, laughs too intimate. Jealousy flared, irrational but insistent. Old mentor, he explained later, stripping for bed. Harmless, but sleep evaded me, mind replaying the touch. Days later, rifling for my script notes in his briefcase, invasion of privacy. I know. I unearthed a business card, Marcus Hale, Hale and Associates. Let's talk opportunities. Scribbled below. Dinner? Discreet. My blood iced. Marcus, the exec. Married. Rumored to play away from home. Confrontation brewed slow, erupting at our engagement dinner with friends at Gramercy Tavern. Midway through toasts, I excused myself, dragging Dylan to the coat check. What's with Marcus? I hissed, waving the card like a white flag of surrender. His face paled, then flushed. Networking, Jesus. Ethan, not everything's a conspiracy. But his voice pitched high, defensive. The table fell silent as shouts leaked. Mia herded guests out, shooting me sympathetic glances. Home was a war zone, accusations hurled like grenades. You're doing it again, testing boundaries because forever scares you, Dylan paced, fists clenched. And you're suffocating me. Every shadow's a betrayal in your head. Truth serum spilled. Yes, dinner planned, but platonic, scouting a lateral move to escape his firm's toxicity. Marcus is straight-edge boring. It's business, but the seed of doubt had sprouted thorns. We called off the wedding that night, not dramatically, but with exhausted finality. I need space, I said, crashing at Mia's again. He nodded, shattered. Take it. I'll wait. Lies. Both knew. November stripped the trees bare, mirroring my soul. Premiere parties blurred into bar crawls. Fans gushed over my authentic vulnerability, oblivious to the source. Dylan texted sporadically, "Miss you. Therapy solo now." I replied in monosyllables, building walls higher than the Empire State. Then, the gut punch. A call from his mom, voice quavering over static. Dylan's in the hospital. Huh. Crash. Drunk driver on the FDR. Time fractured. I bolted to Mount Sinai, tires screaming through gridlock, heart a jackhammer. Our waiting room. Sterile hell of beeps and bleach. She hugged me fierce. He asked for you. Bandages, bruises, broken ribs, concussion but alive. Awake, groggy, he gripped my hand. Ethan. Sorry. For everything. Tears flowed unchecked. Shut up. Just heal. Days blurred into vigils. Reading him scripts aloud, smuggling in contraband burgers, his laugh weak but returning. The crash? Post-argument bender, pushing 90 on rain-slicked asphalt. Rock bottom, he rasped. You were right. I sabotage what I love most. Vulnerability poured, the foster scars, the arrogance as deflection. The terror of losing me so acute it drove him to self-destruct. Discharge brought him home, to my temporary sublet. Truce extended. We navigated slow, shared silences over coffee, tentative touches rebuilding bridges. I want forever, he confessed one snowy evening, skyline frosted beyond the window. With you. No more games. I believed him, the confidence now tempered with humility, pulling me not despite the flaws, but because of the fight to overcome them. But healing's a marathon, and December tested us anew. Winter gripped Manhattan like a jealous lover. Snowdrifts piling against fire escapes as Dylan and I hunkered in my sublet. A cozy one-bed in the village, fairy lights strung like hopeful veins. Rehab was grueling. Physical therapy 3 times a week. His once athletic frame protesting every stretch. Feel like a busted action figure, he'd gripe, but show up grinning, that dimple flashing defiance. Emotionally, we peeled onions, layers of therapy revealing the boy who'd built walls to survive, the man now learning to lower them. Christmas came subdued. A tree half-decorated, ornaments from my Ohio halls mingling with his Savannah seashells. We cooked, turkey disasters and pie triumphs, laughing over spilled gravy like newlyweds practicing. To second acts, he toasted, clinking mugs of spiked cider. His kiss lingered, soft with gratitude, bodies aligning later in a dance of rediscovery. Slow, exploratory, affirmations whispered against skin. Love felt earned now, forged in fire's aftermath. But the past clawed back. New Year's, prepping for a low-key countdown at home. His phone lit up, Tyler's name, bold and unwelcome. Heard about the crash. Drinks? For old times. Dylan's thumb hovered, then deleted, but not before I glimpsed. Block him, I said, voice steady but edged. He did. Immediate, but the intrusion soured the champagne. Ghosts die hard, he admitted, pulling me close. But you're my present. My future. January thought us outward. My show's 2nd season greenlit. His job lateral to a kinder firm, Hale and Associates. Marcus a straight arrow ally after all. We resumed wedding talks. Smaller scale. City Hall. Then a backyard bash in Brooklyn. Invites went out to a paired list. Mia beaming. His mom tearing up. But doubt nipped heels. A nightmare woke me sweating. Dylan vanishing into fog. Tyler's laugh echoing. Spring equinox brought bloom. Literally, tulips rioting in Union Square as we walked. Hands linked. Remember our first fight? He mused, bumping my shoulder. I snorted. How could I forget? You were such a prick. Laughter bubbled, easing old tensions. Intimacy deepened too. Not just physical, but soul-bearing. He shared letters from foster siblings. Tales of Christmases alone. I confessed script fears, the imposter syndrome gnawing my success. Yet, conflict simmered. April showers birthed May monsoons, and a merger at Dylan's firm that demanded 80-hour weeks. Temporary, again, but echoes rang. Dinners grew cold. I'd eat solo, scripting by candlelight, the loft's shadows lengthening. One storm-lashed night, thunder rattling windows, I snapped. You're fading again. Prioritizing deals over us. He stormed in late, drenched, ice stormy. And you're waiting for failure. Can't trust the win. The blowout was biblical. Furniture shoved. Voices raw. I gave you everything, I yelled. Second chances aren't infinite, he countered. I'm fighting for us, stability, a home. Kids maybe one day, kids. The word hung. Revelation. We'd skirted family talks, but there it was, his dream of adoption. Legacy beyond blood. My heart softened mid-rage. I want that too. But not if it costs us. Truce came in tears, rain pattering like applause. We collapsed on the rug, limbs entangled, apologies murmured. I'm scared, he confessed. Success feels like a trap, One slip, and poof, I traced his tattoos. Then we set the traps together. Morning brought clarity. Boundaries drawn. Weekends sacred. Therapy doubled. June's Pride Month pulsed electric. Rainbow flags snapping in parades. Our float a beacon of hard-won joy. Dylan marched beside me, arm raised high, his confidence a rallying cry. That night, post-party haze in a West Village bar, he pulled me to the dance floor, bodies swaying to pulsing bass. "I love you," he shouted over the din, lips brushing my ear. Fireworks internal, we tumbled home, making love with the windows open, city serenade to our union. But climax brewed in July heat. My show's rap party, A-list buzz, producers toasting the next it couple as Dylan and I posed for pap shots, reluctant poster boys for queer domesticity. Envy stirred elsewhere, though. A rival writer, Jake, sharp-tongued, ambitious, cornered me by the bar. Dylan's lucky. But honey, that shine, it'll tarnish. Venom dripped. Rumors of Dylan's old habits resurfacing. Tyler's whispers amplified. Doubt festered. Home late from the party. Buzzed on Rose. I scrolled old texts, masochistic archaeology. There, a thread from March. Dylan to Tyler. One last time? Ethan's out of town. Heart seized. Deleted. But screenshots from a mutual Mia's doing proved it. Another lapse. Post-crash recovery. When painkillers blurred lines. It was nothing, he'd claim. But the photo attached, hotel keycard. Rumpled bed screamed otherwise. Rage crested at dawn. Dylan stirred as I shook him awake. Phone thrust in face. Again, after the hospital. The promises. His eyes widened. Horror dawning. Ethan, wait. It was a weak moment. I was broken. Literally. Called it off before anything. Lies crumbled under scrutiny. Tears his, but mine steelier. Betrayals pattern. Dylan. Not a plot twist. He begged on knees. Voice cracking. I'm clean. Therapy's working. Don't throw us away. But the dam broke. I packed. Final this time. Sublet surrendered for Mia's couch. I hate you. I spat. Door slamming like guillotine. Streets blurred through sobs. The city indifferent witness. August scorched. Isolation my companion. Show renewed. But joy leached out. Scripts rang false. Lovers on page mocking my solitude. Dylan persisted. Letters slid under doors. Flowers wilting like hope. I hate my arrogant confidence too. It cost me you. Poignant. But too late. Mia urged blocking. I couldn't. Tethered by the pull. Climax hit in September. Labor Day weekend. A call. Dylan's overdose, pills and bourbon. Note scrawled. Can't without you. Forgive or forget me. Our redux. But dire ICU. Machines beeping dirge. I raced. Past his mom's pleas. Into the sterile fray. Awake. Tubes snaking. He whispered. End it. Or save me. The arrogance gone. Just a man unmoored. Choice loomed. Heart fracturing. September's equinox sun slanted through ICU blinds, casting bars on Dylan's pallid face as monitors whispered their mechanical litany. I sat vigil, hand in his frail now, the broad palm that once gripped mine with possessive fire reduced to tremors. Nurses bustled. His mom prayed rosaries in the corner. But the room shrank to us, the precipice of forever or farewell. Ethan, he rasped. Voice gravel from intubation. Don't stay out of pity. Those green eyes, dulled but piercing, beg truth over mercy. Pity? No. Love, twisted with grief, fury, exhaustion. You think this fixes it? I murmured, thumb stroking his knuckles. The betrayals, the patterns. He nodded, wincing. Nothing fixes. But I can change. For real. If you'll witness. Vulnerability raw, no armor. Just the boy from foster shadows, reaching for light. I stayed. Through the haze of consultations and code blues that weren't. His confession a flood. The overdoses of youth. The confidence a dam against despair. You pulled me from the edge once. Let me earn it again. Discharge was a gauntlet. Psych ward for 30 days. Me shuttling clothes and scripts between worlds. Visits were glass partitioned. His smiles brave but brittle. Read me your new pilot, he'd request. Voice muffled by plexiglass. I'd oblige, weaving tales of redemption arcs that mirrored ours too keenly. Mia softened. He's fighting, babe. Ugly, but real. Therapy solo for me now, unpacking codependency. The hate-love tango that hooked me from bar stool to bedside. October gilded the leaves as Dylan emerged. Gaunt, but glowing with resolve. Sober living house in Harlem. Group sessions his new religion. We met neutral. Coffee shops. Parks. No overnights. Conversations deepened. Dreams deferred. Like adopting a kid someday. Teaching resilience he lacked young. Not to replace what I lost, he said, stirring sugar absently, but to build what we can. My heart thawed, the pull irresistible, that confidence reborn as quiet strength, drawing me not to flames, but steady hearth. November brought Thanksgiving in Queens, my sister's table, tentative inclusion. Dylan arrived early, pie in hand, charming aunts with humble tales. No booze touched his lips. Instead, he carved turkey with focus, I seeking my approval. Post-feast walks cleared the air. I hated who I was, he admitted, breath fogging crisp dusk. Arrogant to hide the afraid. You saw both, loved anyway. I squeezed his hand. Still do. But trust rebuilds brick by brick. Winter solstice tested. Holiday parties. Temptations lurking in eggnog shadows. He navigated clean. My arm his anchor. Christmas Eve. Under village lights. He gifted a journal leather-bound. Waves embossed. For your stories. And ours. Inside. Letters, one per betrayal. Apologies etched in ink. Vows in margins. Tears blurred pages. I pulled him into an alley. Kiss fierce with forgiveness. Merry Christmas. Idiot. Spring 2026 unfurled gentle. My show Emmy buzzed. Dylan's promotion earned through grit. Not grease. We moved slow. Weekends at his place. Then mine. Bodies relearning rhythms without urgency's edge. Sex transformed, tender explorations. Laughter interrupting gasps. Affirmations etched in moans. Pride Month. We marched again. His sign. Love wins. One apology at a time. Cheesy. But his grin lit the route. Yet, humanism demands shadows in light. June's full moon. Rooftop in Brooklyn, our first real date spot, conflict crested soft. Kids, he broached. Stars winking complicit. Adoption papers filed. If you're in. Pause heavy. My pilot's third season delved fatherhood fears. Scripts bleeding personal. I'm scared, I confessed, of failing them. Like we almost failed us. He cupped my face. Then we parent perfectly imperfect. Together. Climax. Not catastrophe. A yes, whispered into wind. Sealing commitment sans rings yet. July heat baked resolutions. We eloped City Hall. Mia and his mom witnesses. Cake a bodega black and white. Vows simple. I hated your confidence once, now it grounds me. Laughter rippled. Sealing the knot. Life post-vow? A tapestry woven loose. My show wrapped filming amid strikes. Dylan's firm balanced ambition with boundaries. Betrayals? Scars? Not shackles, therapy anniversaries toasted with NA coffee. We fostered first. A teen named Alex. Queer and wary. His walls echoing Dylan's youth. Families chosen. Dylan taught. Patience his new superpower. Pulling us all closer. One autumn eve. Years blurred. We stood that same rusty anchor stoop, rain pattering nostalgic. Remember? He asked. Arm around my waist. Alex rolling eyes inside. I grinned. How I hated you. His laugh boomed. Dimple deep. Best hate ever. Kiss in the downpour. City humming approval, arrogant confidence tamed. Now the thread binding our messy, human love. In America's relentless churn, we thrived. Not flawless, but fiercely real. Love, after all, isn't absence of storm. It's dancing in the rain, pulling closer with every drop.